boxing fans? This is Kenneth with SBN Boxing. You can visit the web at www.sbnboxing.com. Let's speak boxing. Timothy Bradley, faster than Manny Pacquiao. Timothy Bradley has more power, more defense. He's on a higher level than Manny Pacquiao. He's younger than Manny Pacquiao. And so they say. And so Timothy Bradley says. All I'm saying, I give Timothy Bradley credit. No matter what Pacquiao does as far as eating, sleeping, training, doesn't matter who he beats, doesn't matter what Pacquiao does, he's always going to be older than Marquez. So I agree. I mean, older than Bradley. So I agree with Timothy Bradley on one thing. He's younger. Now, as far as the other shit, defense, power, speed, hey, you got to convince me on that. You got to convince me on that. And a lot of fans out there, you got to convince me on that one. Because you're just as good as your last fight. You're just as good as your last fight. And if that was true, then it's easy for me to justify that, you know what? Easy for me to create this video and say, hey, you know what? Facts are facts. Pacquiao's on the decline. Timothy Bradley's only getting better, and Timothy Bradley should win this fight. But I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. Dislike me all you want. Dislike the video all you want. I just don't see it. I don't. Let's break it down. I'm not writing off Timothy Bradley whatsoever. Bradley put on a phenomenal performance against Marquez. I'm not going to question when Marquez got defeated by Bradley where he was in this point of his career. I'm not going to question that because Marquez had a phenomenal upset victory and pulled it off. Pulled off a great victory against the Manny Pacquiao and was able to put him to sleep. Was able to do something that many thought it was impossible to do. Doesn't matter how many times he fought though, but hey, nobody questions that, nobody looks at that, nobody takes that under consideration. But not take anything from Marquez. Marquez did a phenomenal job. Bradley did a phenomenal job. And you know what? It's easy for me to sit here and just say, hey, you know what? Bradley is going to beat Pacquiao based on their last fight. Because Pacquiao fighting Brandon Rios, yeah, Brandon Rios, that's the first time he came off 147, and Brandon Rios came off a loss against Mike Alvarez. So it was an easy fight. It was a tailor-made fight for Marquez. It was set up for Rios to fail in that fight. And Pacquiao, they're saying that he lost his edge. He wasn't able to knock out Brandon Rios. Did he look quick? Hell yeah, he looked quick. Was his defense there? You can say that, but Brandon Rios wasn't really throwing any punches. He wasn't throwing that many punches whatsoever. So you can't really question his defense whatsoever there. Even though Brandon Rios was able to catch Manny Pacquiao with some shots. But still, it's just, Pacquiao was just overwhelming him with punches as far as speed. And Rios said that motherfucker's fast. Rios did say that motherfucker was fast. But let's break it down. That's here or there. I don't want to talk about that. But let's talk about the points that Bradley said. Bradley's right. Bradley is always going to be younger than Pacquiao. He's always going to be younger than Pacquiao. But as far as speed-wise, where was that speed against Provodnikov? Speed wasn't there against Provodnikov. Yes, people were saying that he could have boxed Provodnikov. The reason that fight happened is just that whatever the case may be, you can sit there and try to justify it and say, hey, you know what, Timothy Bradley was in a point in the stage of his career that he wanted to prove a lot to the world and go toe-to-toe with Provodnikov. If he would have had, listened to his corner, he would have went ahead and outboxed him. It would have been an easy fight for Provodnikov. I don't think that's true. I honestly think even no matter what Timothy Bradley did, Provodnikov, it's just his style. Stylistically, he's unorthodox. He was able to come in. It doesn't matter. It was a point where Provodnikov is going to corner you. He's going to cut off the ring, and you have to exchange with him. You have to exchange with him. And where was that defense in that fight? Because Timothy Bradley, if you look at it, in the exchange, Bradley was sitting there exchanging with his hands down. No defense, no nothing. Just catching. The only thing that was there in that fight was will. The will to win, which I don't take from Bradley. Bradley has heart. That's the only thing that was there. Because other than that, defensively, power-wise, that power wasn't there because it wasn't backing up Provodnikov whatsoever. I really don't even understand why. I'm not even going to sit here and try to justify. I'm not even going to sit there and even entertain a conversation that Bradley has power, because who has Bradley knocked out in his last several fights? And if that, at 147, who has Bradley knocked out? Who has he knocked down? He almost knocked down Marquez. They didn't count it as a knockdown, but whatever the case may be, this is Kenneth SBN Boxing. We cover live. pre-fight, post-fight, and we are going to cover the Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley fight. So if you guys don't catch it on pay-per-view, you best believe we're actually going to give the full breakdown right after fight, after each, you know, every 3 rounds, every 4 rounds. We're gonna keep you updated. So if you want to watch, you know, if you want to see what's going on with the fight, subscribe now, and you get to see exactly what's going on. Now, you know, a lot of people are sitting there telling me, hey Kenny, you're writing off Timothy Bradley. I'm not writing off Timothy Bradley. I'm not beating around the bush. I'm not circling. I'm not reaching whatsoever. What I'm saying is, I just don't see Timothy Bradley. He's putting himself on a high pedestal. He's sitting there saying that he's on a higher level. Skills pays the bills. You know, he's saying skillfully he's a better boxer than Manny Pacquiao. He puts himself as a higher level. Why? Because he's champ. I just don't see that whatsoever. Because who has Timothy Bradley beaten? Who has he beaten? And I don't need to sit there and watch a video on. I had somebody tell me, hey, watch this video, Kenny, you need to watch this video. What the fuck I gotta watch this video for? I watched the video, I entertained him. Ochoing, I watched the video. And yeah, that's you. I watched the video. What did the video cover? You know, I covered the breakdown. You know, had commentators giving the breakdown. They made it sound so fucking exciting. And so, like, you know, so interesting. So exciting and so interesting. It just covered the last previous fight, Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao. Look, I don't need to watch that video, man. I don't care what anybody tells me. I seen that shit with my own 2 eyes. I watched that fight over and over again, and there's no way Pacquiao lost that fight. No 5-8s, no 8-5s. No, I just don't see it. Pacquiao completely outboxed, outworked, outpowered, outpointed, everything, every category that you can think of. Punch output, power punches, everything. Controlling the fight, being the aggressor in the fight. There was never one time that Manny Pacquiao backed off Timothy Bradley. Pacquiao brought the fight to Bradley, and it was very, very effective. He got completely robbed in that fight. And I understand in the video, it just gave us, you know, it just basically explained the situation, explained it round by round and stuff like that, what was really going on. And it basically tried to justify, you know, what determines a fighter's career, what makes a fighter, who he is, and how we judge a fighter is based on the rematch. And I completely agree with that. You know what? It depends on what type of fighter you are in the rematch. And who better than Manny Pacquiao? Manny Pacquiao has a resume of losses. He has a resume of losses. He was able to come back and completely shock the world. Come up 8 different world class, 8 different divisions, and completely dominate every single division. And dominate every single division. In which I agree with that on the rematch. I agree. It justifies it. Just like, you know, Muhammad Ali versus Frazier. Muhammad Ali versus Frazier. Frazier beat. Forget about Muhammad Ali and what happened. Is him being off of boxing. Don't take that under consideration. But, you know, when Frazier was the champion, Muhammad Ali went ahead and fought him, and Frazier beat him. He beat him. Convincingly beat Muhammad Ali. But what did Muhammad Ali do? When Frazier got knocked out by Foreman, he got the opportunity to go ahead and take on Frazier. And guess what? He beat Frazier hands down, cleanly, decisively. Beat him. You know, Raheem went ahead and knocked out. He went ahead and knocked out Lennox Lewis. Holy shit. That was the upset of the decade. That was a big upset on the decade. And guess what? In the rematch, Lennox Lewis knocked his motherfucking ass out in the 4th round. So in that video, the rematch, you know, it has details. It justifies. It lets you know as a boxer and as an athlete, professional athlete on that level. It lets you know what type of fighter you are mentally, psychologically. You know, it lets you know where you at and where you stand. If you're the greatest, I get that. I understand that. But if you try to use that against the Manny Pacquiao, like the commentators made it look, Manny Pacquiao didn't lose the motherfucking fight. So that whole rematch stuff, what's it justifying? It justifies anything. It doesn't justify anything because Manny Pacquiao completely dominated Timothy Bradley. So it doesn't matter how, you know, the voiceover and how they cropped the voice and made it sound like a movie, and it just sounded so professional and so exciting. They had the music playing in the background. They had all the cuts in the video editing. And I'm just listening to your words. I'm listening to your words. And the rematch, it doesn't justify, it doesn't make or break Manny Pacquiao. If anything, it just, the only thing it justifies And the only thing it justifies and the only thing that it actually proves is that boxing's not corrupted. Because that's the only thing, if that fight goes to the scorecards, the only thing that it's going to justify if the judges weren't blind and oblivious to the fact that they got paid off and that there was no corruption in boxing. That's the only thing that does, but that's not going to justify Manny Pacquiao's career because Timothy Bradley didn't beat him. He didn't beat him whatsoever. But anyways, guys, Kenneth, SBN Boxing, friend request, subscribe. I watched the video. I'm not writing off Timothy Bradley. All I'm saying is, Bradley, we're less than a week away. We got to see the fight. It's going to be an action-packed fight. It's going to be a good fight to watch. Because both fighters got a lot on the table. Got a lot on the line. Bradley's champ. He's undefeated. And he knows. Come Saturday, he's definitely going to know what he's going to... It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he says. He knows what he's up against. Anyways, this is Kenneth, SBN Boxing. Friend request, subscribe. Have a good one.